MMA Mutants. Strebo here with you from Mutantville.com. Lots of crazy things going on in the world of MMA this week. We just had UFC Fight Night 52 from Japan. Mark Hunt versus Roy Big Country Nelson turned out to be a great event all around. Mark Hunt scored the walkaway KO, which was pretty sweet. But what I'm here to talk about today is the brawl between light heavyweight champion Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier and the subsequent fallout. The two were involved in a press conference to promote their upcoming fight back on August 4th, I believe it was, at the MGM Grand, and they got into an altercation on the stage where Jones tried to big brother. Cormier went up to him, pressed his forehead down on him. Cormier retaliated by putting his hands up to Jones's neck and then pushing him away. And then Jones went full crazy alpha male, started slinging people to the side and throwing just crazy, like movie style punches across the stage to try to get at Cormier. They were broken apart. Cormier even wound up throwing a shoe, and the whole thing was, as a fight fan, I thought it was pretty awesome. You know, spectacle and promotion is definitely a big part of the fight sport. And you know, we like to kid ourselves as fans of martial arts. You know, we like to kid ourselves and say we want to see honor and courage and discipline and the Bushido code and all that stuff. But let's be honest, there's a movie out there that summed it up in one word: blood sport. That's what it's about. People want to pay to see people bleed, bottom line. You know, and spectacle has always been a part of it, most definitely. And that little brawl turned the potential of the Jones-Cormier fight from being a really good matchup into being just a spectacular, attention-grabbing, must-see event, because you knew the venom and the hatred was just going to continue to build between these two and continue to build and continue to build. And I've really been following this rivalry for a while, because Daniel Cormier started calling out Jon Jones and mentioning his name when he was still fighting in Strikeforce, you know, years ago. You know, Cormier made his name by winning the Strikeforce heavyweight tournament, which is probably the last great tournament of its type. Though it wasn't like a Pride-style tournament where they had multiple fights in one night. But regardless, you know, it was bracketed up with the best heavyweights in the world outside of the UFC. And he was the guy that came through it unscathed and won. And the name coming out of his mouth was always Jon Jones. And Jon Jones did his best to blow it off and laugh it off and say, look, Cormier, we're not even in the same division, you know, so you go fight your fights, and when you're in my division, let me know. Lo and behold, Cormier makes his way into the UFC, beats Frank Mir in his debut. Who else did he fight at heavyweight? He had two heavyweight fights, didn't he? Well, I forget now. Then he drops down to light heavyweight. He was supposed to debut against Rashad Evans. Rashad Evans got injured during training. The darn injury bug. I tell you what, the injury bug has been killing Zuffa this year. I mean, we've lost so many just great matchups and great events. Anyway, Cormier finally gets a chance to prove himself, fights the old warhorse Dan Henderson, totally big brothers him, demolishes him, ragdolls him, throws him around like he was a child in the ring. I mean, and Henderson's fought every name out there from 170 pounds to 220 pounds. You know, the guy will fight anybody. He's a beast. You know, a long time warrior of the sport, and definitely an American all-time great, possibly the #2 greatest, you know, MMA fighter of all time. I mean, when you look at the guy's resume. And Cormier just punished him, and that was Cormier's real introduction into the light heavyweight division, to say, hey, I'm here, you know, I just punished Dan Henderson, you know, this is going to happen to other people. And the Jones-Gustafsson rematch was scheduled. Gustafsson got injured, got pulled out. Daniel Cormier gets moved to the front of the line. The brawl happens. Everything is right in the world. A week or two goes by. I think it was just a week. What happens? That damn Alistair Overeem injures Jon Jones in training, blows his knee out. Jones has to have surgery. The whole fight is postponed until January. I mean, my God, talk about just going from the heights of excitement and just anticipation to the pit of despair, all in the course of a week, and all because of that damn Alistair Overeem. Tell you what, guys should not injure their training partners. Bottom line. Well, it took a couple months for the NSAC to say, hey, let's do something about this brawl. They bring Cormier and Jones in. They fined them both, I believe, 10% of their purse. Jones got fined $50,000 and ordered to do 40 hours of community service. Subsequently, he also lost his Nike deal, apparently, unless he's just trolling everybody by saying he lost his Nike deal. But he lost his Nike sponsorship. Cormier was fined $9,000 and was ordered to do 20 hours of community service. So, you know, those guys had to pay a price. It's a shame, but you know, the State Athletic Commission they have to do something about it if they want to be taken seriously. We can't have fighters just going absolutely insane at press conferences and weigh-ins and whatnot. I mean, there's too much money on the line just across the board, you know, even for the city when they're hosting these events, because they're bringing in people from out of town. They need places to stay, places to eat, places to gamble, you know, stripper clubs to go to, all those things. And when a fight gets scrapped, all that business is lost. So it's big business across the board, and you want your fighters to make it to the ring healthy. But this rivalry is something I'm really excited about, because both guys are you know, should be considered undefeated. You know, Cormier on his record still has that 0 losses and is undefeated. John Jones has that disqualification loss against Matt Hamill when he just punished Matt Hamill, and then he's hitting him with the old 12-6 elbows, and he was DQ'd for it, which is a shame. It's a lot like the Roy Jones loss when he knocked out Montel Griffin. And he had that loss for years and years and years just because of that. And it was really a DQ when he knocked out the other guy. It's like the same thing happened with Jones. But I love this matchup. You know, there was a time I thought that the Jones and Rashad Evans matchup was going to be kind of a bit of a Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier kind of rivalry. But Jones's skill set and his size, he just surpassed Evans. Evans kind of became lost as an MMA fighter. He doesn't know if he's a wrestler or if he's a boxer. When he figures out how to put the both together, he's a monster, like what he did to Phil Davis. Jones, on the other hand, is a total package. He knows how to put everything together. That said, when you break his pieces down individually, he's not a great boxer. He's not a great kickboxer. He is a fantastic wrestler, and he uses that as a base, and he kind of builds everything off of that. Cormier, on the other hand, amazing powerhouse wrestler, obviously trains and spars with Cain Velasquez, the heavyweight champion of the world. And by working and training at AKA, has honed himself into a very dangerous, very powerful kickboxer. Nothing flashy, but just solid fundamentals, enough to put stuff out there to keep you thinking, keep you hurting. And he hits hard with both hands. I mean, when he knocked out Bigfoot to advance in the Strikeforce heavyweight tournament, you know, that was saying something. You know, Bigfoot is a beast, even though he's recently knocked out by Andrei Arlovski. Arlovski's always had a powerful right hand, and you know, and he did the right thing in putting it on Bigfoot. But Cormier, you know, he showed everybody that he is a force to be reckoned with. So you've essentially got 2 undefeated fighters going into this, and I, for one, am just excited. I can't wait for January to get here. I just hate that we lost this red-hot momentum going from this. And these guys were trash-talking and going back and forth and this and that. And we're really going to have to wait until December for all the promotion to kick back up. On top of that, we lost to Chris Weidman-Vitor Belfort fight this week. Weidman broke his hand in training. It's just like, oh, gosh, it just hurts your heart. And as an individual that has trained over the years, you know, I've had so many injuries myself that it just happens. And it happens for stupid things.